Waco.
He is Houston football coach Willie Fritz. We've had Coach Fritz on this show when he was at Tulane, now at Houston, part of the Big 12, and been pretty busy the last few weeks trying to get everything through the transition and also moving forward. Coach David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak, thank you very much for your time again. Always appreciate your time. What has been during the transition, and now it's been a few weeks, but what has been the one or two biggest challenges you've faced?
Oh, putting the staff together, that was big. It's one of the toughest things when you take a new job. Not everybody at the previous school is going to be a fit at the new school, and the new school, unfortunately, not able to keep everybody. So that was difficult to put a staff together. But I think I put a really good staff together. A lot of guys who have experience recruiting in the state of Texas. And then just going out and getting in front of the high school coaches. They've got, more influence here than any other state in the country as far as, college coaches and where their student athletes are going to end up going to school. And so it's been important for me to go out as a head coach to all these different schools and, reacquaint myself with, the state of Texas. I'd been gone for 10 years. After I left in Houston, I went 2 years to Georgia Southern as the head coach and then went over to Tulane for 8. So it's great to go back into high school, see former players and, friends of mine from years gone by. And I think we're making a lot of inroads.
Coach, obviously in the decade since you left, Houston's changed a lot. They're in a Power 5 conference. They've built a new stadium, like all these.
Four.
Yeah, Power 4, yeah. A Power 4 conference, yeah. The conferences are all different now. All of that. What are the things that maybe fans may not realize about Houston and the fact that they could be, especially just given where you're sitting, a bit of a sleeping giant as far as how much this program could grow?
Well, I think our president's done an excellent job of raising the academic profile of the university, number one. Number two, we broke ground about 3 months ago on a brand new football operations center. That's going to be spectacular, one of the tops in the country. And, I think one of the reasons why maybe as many kids as you'd like to have a bunch of them from around this area didn't stay here at home is because they weren't playing in a Power 4 conference. And now we're doing that. And that's what I'm selling to these kids. You get play in front of your folks and your people and go home on the weekends and all those kind of different things if you want to. And get to play in these great facilities and get to do it, on the big stage. So that's the reason why I took the job. I wanted to, to do it at the very highest level of collegiate football. And, I was looking at our schedule for next year. And they had a preseason top 25 with some publication. I think we're playing 7 teams ranked in the top 25 preseason-wise. So very challenging schedule, and I think that'll appeal to a lot of the kids in the state of Texas, particularly here in the greater Houston area.
Coach, you brought on a couple of local heroes to your coaching staff, the Bell brothers from here close by in China Spring, and we got to know them very well over the years. And obviously, we're at Baylor these past few seasons. But just
3 minutes and 12 seconds. I told those guys, I wonder how quickly they're going to ask about the Bell brothers.
Yeah. So was it quicker or longer than you expected?
I told them 2.5.
Okay, so
you guys are a little late on this deal, I'm so pumped to have those guys. Sean, he knows about every third guy. So does Brian. They know everybody in the state. Brian was a great quarterback for me, and he's won a state championship at China Spring, and then they make sure I don't put that asset in of it. China Spring, that's Springs, right? And then
that's right.
And then Sean, great quarterback at Baylor, and was a coach down here at Magnolia West in the Houston area, and both those guys have really helped me out. I've been fortunate. I think I got 5 guys on staff who've been Texas high school coaches at one time or another in their career. I'm also a former Texas high school coach. I coached at Willis, Texas, for a year. So they've been great additions. my son works in recruiting, and he was in Brian's wedding, and Brian was in his wedding. So got a lot of history with those guys, and it's great to have them on board.
You have coached at the high school level. You mentioned Willis. They had a hell of a quarterback, but I know he's going somewhere else last year with Lagway. But you've been at the junior college level. Pittsburgh State, with that incredible tradition where you went to school, and of course we know that the national history they have. So you've been everywhere, FCS, FBS, Power Four, all of this. Any of those particular levels did you learn the most, or is it a kind of combination melting pot?
It really was all of them. I really had two mentors in coaching. A guy named Dick Foster that I coached for as defense coordinator at Coffeyville Community College, and then Ron Randleman. Ron's like a dad.
Oh, yeah.
He was my head coach at Pittsburgh State, and then that's how I matriculated down to Texas is when he, got on at Sam Houston State and as the head coach. I was a GA for him and then a coordinator for him a few years later. He comes to probably 75% of my games, since I've been coaching at other places. So I learned some at all of them. I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. We have big staff meetings, every day at 4:00, and I talk to, the academic people and the athletic trainers and the equipment people and strength and conditioning. And, I've done everybody's job. I schedule and enroll student athletes for 15 years. I strength coach for 12 years. I was equipment guy for a couple. I lined the fields. I, done a little bit of everything. And I got great appreciation for everybody's job. And I think it's kind of unique, that I've done a lot of different things. I think it gives me a little different perspective than maybe someone who's just been at the Division I level all their life and doesn't really know how the inner workings of a staff and a football program should be run.
Willie Fritz, head football coach at Houston, with us on 365 Sports.
Coach, I'm always curious to hear views on the calendar now in college football, which is really complicated. I mean, the third week in December seems to make no sense because you have about 6 things that are going on that should all really have their own week or even a month surrounding them that you're all kind of doing at the same time, when getting ready for a bowl game or transitioning to a new staff and kids going into the transfer portal, you getting kids out of the transfer portal, fundraising, bowl games, all these things kind of overlap at once. Is there a way to fix it? Do you have any kind of way to navigate through that? Because especially you changing jobs, that had to be really hard this year.
Yeah, it was. But you just got to do it. It's got a friend of mine who's a D1 head coach, and he kind of calls me about once a week and complains about stuff. I say, hey man, it ain't changing. You better adapt to it. And that's what we've done. I think at some point in time, whenever you have any new legislation that everybody's got to adhere to, there's a little trial period, and you got to work out the kinks, and I'm sure we'll do that. It's, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on in December. I remember I had been working and took the job on December 3rd, and I was driving back to New Orleans, to over Christmas on the 22nd, and I thought, wow, I think I'm going to have a couple of days off. I haven't had a day off since July. This is going to be fun. And 4 days later, they extended the time that guys can get in the portal and unlimited transfers. I'm like, wow. And I was on the phone for 4 days in a row for 3 or 4 hours a day. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be changed, I think, in the next, 6 months, I'm guessing, but they're not asking my opinion, so I'm just going to do the best I can with the rules they got right now in place.
With as far as what you want to accomplish and do offensively, defensively, what do you do as far as starting to look at the roster? And obviously, you guys have been very busy with the portal in and out, but what are the changes, I guess, people will see in a recruiting approach of the type of players that you're looking for?
Well, we're going to really go after Texas high school football players. I mean, the greatest football in the world, high school-wise, is played right here in the state of Texas without question. It's been a lot of fun going in and watching off-season programs and the discipline and the structure, and just the interaction with the kids, just how they, have been around, coaches and it's just been a lot of fun doing that. So we're going to try to, we want our roster to be full of Texas high school kids. I just think, every place I've been, I think kids are happier if they're fairly close to home. And now with us playing Power 4 football, like I said before, we've got that opportunity for kids to stay here and accomplish, the goals that they want to accomplish. So that's what we're going to do. I think the portal is something that we're going to utilize at times. Sometimes you need immediate help, or maybe a kid from this area or went away, thought the grass is greener someplace else, and find out it was only green and wants to come back home. So we'll also use the portal in that regard as well.
Well, you're in a recruiting hotbed. Yeah. There's not a better city in America.
Yeah.
That's not a softball question. That's just the truth with what you have in Houston.
Yeah, I was going to follow it up with. There's how much of an advantage is that to be in Houston? A city also that has a lot of people that have civic pride about it, more than a lot of places in the country. That kids just maybe want to be in Houston because it's a cool place to be.
Well, we've got over 300,000 alums in the greater Houston area. So that certainly ought to help. And then something else is, I go into all these high schools. There's a lot of Houston alums that are coaching now, and former Houston Cougar football players, that are teaching and coaching around the area. So they're all excited about the move into the Big 12 and have great they love their university and their alma mater and I'm just with the facilities we have with the stadium. It's been revamped. We got an unbelievable indoor. It's really a football field and a half. So you can get a full practice in there, and then great outdoor fields, and then the football operations center. We're going to have everything in place, in order to be successful with the football program.
Willie Fritz from Houston with us on 365 Sports. Did you ever get to watch a game when Bill Yeoman was there, who had the great run with the Veer back before they even started the Southwest Conference membership and after? Was that something you ever bump into him at all?
No, I didn't. I met his sons here a few days ago, but I've always heard great things about Coach. I got a big picture of him up in my office, and I've met a lot of the guys that played for him, over the years. But yeah, the split back Veer, that was his ace in the hole. I remember watching him on TV, and it was always on CBS, right? It had the Cougars playing in one of the bowl games, your regular season game, whatever the case may be. But people, people here want to get back to, the Bill Yeoman days. Now, I don't think we're going to run split back Veer.
No.
But, they're talking about the winning. They want to get back to that.
Nobody will see it coming, Coach, if you do.
We're trying to debate whether Coach Neil Patalo, is going to be at Sam Houston State and run what he did when he was at San Jose State. He's going to run what he did at the University of the Naval Academy with what they do at military.
I played Ken a few times. I always call him Coach Ken. I got too much respect for you to butcher your name, but he, we played that under center triple option, and he did a great job with it. And I from what I've heard, I don't think he's going to run that up there.
No.
But he's a great football coach and a great guy.
Last question for you. You have now been a part of the Cougars, which are now the Green Wave, the Bearcats, the Eagles at Georgia Southern, the Mules, and then the Buccaneers at Blinn and the Gorillas. Which of those mascots, and the Green Wave's not an animal, which of those mascots, with all due respect to the Cougars, the Gorillas are pretty tough. Who would win that battle?
Well, you didn't mention my high school. I coached at my high school in Shawnee Mission Northwest up in Kansas, and we were the Cougars there also.
Okay.
So I have to go with the Cougars.
Yeah, you have to go with that. There you go, with the alma mater.
I'm not
answer.
Stupid.
Life comes full circle, Coach.
Yeah, it does. We appreciated your time when you were at Tulane, the great run, and you were a part of that win in the Cotton Bowl against USC. What do you still have that feeling that, hey, when the playoff expands, that group of 5 schools, should be much more at least involved, and is that going to be great for them when we move to 12 teams?
Yeah, I think, obviously I'm not in that group of 5 anymore, but I think there's always going to be a school or two that are very deserving of getting in that final 12. And I think we kind of proved with what we did with, against USC, that teams can, flourish playing those type of teams. And then Houston, a few years back with Tom Herman at the helm, beating Florida State and having an incredible season. When they're still part of the American or maybe even Conference USA, I'm not quite sure, but they showed that teams from Group of 5 can be very, very successful. So yeah, I think that's only fair when it needs to be a true national championship playoff and includes everybody.
Thank you, Coach Fritz. Good luck. Thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Go Cougs.
You too. Willie Fritz, head football coach, University of Houston, the Cougars. He was